Hello everybody out there in YouTube land. Welcome to today's video. As of the recording of this video, it is Wednesday, April 16th, 2025. It is currently 8:14 p.m. I am currently here in Bliss, Idaho, parked for the night, along with all these other truckers. This isn't going to be like a traditional vlog I usually do. I mean, I've been known to do some of these walk and talk type videos before, but I kind of want to talk about some plans I have for this video, and I apologize ahead of time for stuttering. I tend to stutter, and I'm sorry ahead of time for if I go off track, because I got ADHD, I get ADD, so I tend to go off track sometimes. So I apologize ahead of time for that. Anyways, thank you for watching today's video. Now let's talk. So throughout this video, I'll probably have the camera mostly pointed out away from me. Actually, no, I'll probably have it pointed mostly towards me. But I'll take some of my old B-roll footage and kind of add it in to this video, so that way you're not just looking at my ugly mug the entire time. But I want to talk about how this channel is going so far, and the future of this channel, what I want to do, some goals I want to reach. And the only way I can help, the only way I can actually get to these goals is for you to help me out. So let's talk about that for a little bit. So as of this morning, well, I should start by saying, well, if you have been following my channel since I started doing YouTube again, you know that I am actually a professional trucker, and I have been a truck driver for about 4 years, going on 4 years now. So a lot of my recent videos have been all over the place. I am primarily based out of Salt Lake City, Utah, where most of my content is. And when I'm on the road, if I have time, or if I'm in an area that I've never been to before, I would just do like a random vlog. So I kind of actually wanted just to go ahead and take this time and talk about why I stopped YouTubing in the first place. I know I've spoken about the situation I was in, what happened on a podcast that is local to Utah. I Am Salt Lake podcast. My friend Chris Hollifield hosts that. He's been doing that for a little over 10 years. He's on hiatus right now because of some health issues going on. Just trying to put my camera up there so it stays up there. But anyway, so this is about, I'm going to be telling my story. I'm going to be adding in video clips. I'm going to be adding in photographs over here, so that way you're not looking at me, because I'm not going to be like particularly looking at the camera or anything like that. So when I first started YouTubing, I actually first started my channel at the end of 2014. I want to say it was probably August or September of 2014. So just over 10 years ago, or yeah, just over 10 years ago, almost 11 years ago. But at first, I wasn't really posting anything worth watching, really. Well, I do remember that one of the very first videos I actually posted on my channel, onto this channel, was at the base of Bridalveil Falls in Provo Canyon, Utah, just northeast of Provo, east of Orem, Utah, down in the area where I live. And what I did in that video is, I think it was only like a 2-minute long video. I don't even remember if I have it on the channel yet or still or not. I have no idea. I don't remember. But it was back when I got my first GoPro Hero. It was, you know, that GoPro I had was older than the GoPro Hero 5, which is the one I used up until I got this current camera. I sold that old GoPro Hero 5 late last year, and then actually mid last year, and I used that money to purchase the GoPro Hero 12 that I'm using now. Anyways, so I started YouTubing, just recording any random videos that I just saw interesting. I just, like, literally, the videos were all completely random. Didn't exactly know what I wanted to post. I just knew that I loved recording whatever was around me. I wanted to post anything that I had on YouTube. And like I said, I have ADD, ADHD. So my content is basically all over the place, like literally and figuratively, all over the place. And so will the speech, and I apologize beforehand for that. So I started going around just filming whatever, because what had happened is, let's see, 2003, I left to go to Germany to serve an LDS mission. And I'm from Federal Way, Washington, by the way. That's where I grew up. And hence, that's why you see me wearing Seattle Mariners stuff. It's like, oh, Chris, I thought you were from Utah. It's like, no, I'm not from Utah. I've actually only lived in Utah since 2009. Anyways, I grew up in Federal Way where my family moved there in 1995. And my family still lives up in the area, but they no longer live in Federal Way. They moved there when my wife and I got married in 2007. Anyways, so before going on my LDS mission in April 2005 or 2003, I used to go, as a teenager, I used to go to the SeaTac Mall. That's what I know it. That's what I grew up calling it. Nowadays, it's called the Commons of Federal Way. I recently posted a video about that. So you can go back a few videos, you'll find it there. Pretty much a dead mall. Anyways, I grew up going to that mall, and it very much so had that 70s aesthetic. And I even have a video posted on my channel somewhere. You can go back and go find it, or I can post it down below as a link, or I can card somewhere here in the video that you can go back and go watch it. It's a commercial from 1981. Anyways, in that commercial, that's how I remember that mall being when I was growing up. Anyways, I left to go to Germany April 2003, got back May 2005, and by the time I had gotten there, the mall had gone through some major renovations to make it, and it looks like that's when the mall looks like what it looks like now. The Mervin's closed and got demolished, which used to be part of the SeaTac Mall. Now it's that Target. And luckily I had taken a few pictures before I went on my mission, my LDS mission. And so I had those, and that's about right around the time when I started getting more into like the whole before, then and now type situation, type of photography. You'll notice that on my Instagram page, I usually share the link to my Instagram down below the description box, which will most likely be there in this video too. So go check that out. Anyways, that's right around the time when I started doing some more of that photography. So I started going around Federal Way, my hometown, and taking pictures of everything, like shopping centers all over the place. Not necessarily inside any particular establishment, but more so like the exterior shots of everything. I'm gonna turn on my light real quick. Hold on real quick, just in case. There you go. Don't know if you'll be able to see me or not, but just in case it starts getting dark, I had the light on. But like I said, going around town, taking pictures of the mall and basically all these other businesses around me, just so I had the documents of that stuff, and anything that was being constructed, anything that was brand new being built, or anything that had closed, I would take pictures of that. When a new store, new restaurant would come in and take over a place of an old store, I would take a picture of that. So that way I had a then and now picture, and basically had done that. I've been doing that ever since. Now, unfortunately, I was taking a lot of those pictures with a digital camera, but I neglected to save those photos onto like a CD. Well, I do have some of them saved on a CD, but not a whole lot of them, unfortunately. I still have some of it saved on like external storage. Like I said, CDs, external hard drives, stuff like that. I still have all that stuff saved, or at least a good chunk of it, but not all of it. Anyways, and then I moved to Utah in 2009 with my wife and my oldest son, who was about 8 or 9 months old at the time. And we moved to Orem. We lived in Orem ever since. We moved once, but just to a different part of town since we moved to Utah. And it was for a different, like, because of it, we were in a strange situation. I didn't really take a whole lot of pictures of the area around me, which I actually wish I did. And I didn't really start doing that until about 2013, maybe 2014 early on with a digital camera. But again, I neglected to save most of those, and also any film footage I had at the time, I neglected to save it. Because what I was doing is I was actually taking a picture of said things, said places, and then I would go get those pictures developed, and then I would put it into like a little journal. So I have a physical copy of some of those pictures, just not digitized, because once I had those pictures developed, I would just delete them off my camera without even thinking about saving them. I wish I actually still kept some of those digital versions, you know. And then anyways, about 2014, I started getting it back in, like more into that again, because a new place. But one of the reasons, I guess what you say, that one of the reasons why I didn't really do that a whole lot when I first moved to Utah is because I originally wasn't from Utah. I had nothing to go off of, nothing I was really interested in taking pictures of, but we were actually staying in Utah a lot longer than I thought we would. So that about 2014 is about when I started taking more pictures. And again, I pretty much do the same thing. Take pictures, develop them, put them in a journal, write about it. That was it. I didn't save them on a hard drive or anything. Until about 2017, when I started taking more pictures of Plum Tree Plaza, which was a shopping complex in Provo, Utah, about 1.5 miles, 2 miles up the road from BYU's Lavelle Edwards Stadium, where BYU plays their football games. Anyway, so I started taking pictures I started taking pictures of that complex in 2014, which was about the same time as when I started doing YouTube. And now a lot of the videos I actually took at that complex, I started taking for documentation purposes. And I actually still have those videos on my channel. I just have a lot of them set to private. And I'm debating whether or not I should actually make those public. A lot of those videos are from 2014 to 2018. But part of the reason why I made them private is because, you know, I don't think anybody would really know of the place unless you actually live in the area, or you went to BYU, or you went to Utah Valley University, which is in Orem. And the two schools are about 6, 7, 8 miles from each other. But yeah, like, so I kept them all to private. I'm actually thinking about putting them public again. I'm just not sure how I want to do that. If I want to re-tag them, if I want to rename them, or if I even want to like go back and re-record the footage, put them all together to one video. I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with that yet. By the way, comment down below what you think I should do with that video footage I have. Should I just go back and republicize those videos? Should I go back and record them off my channel and put them all together into one long video? What do you think I should do? So yeah, that was one reason why I privatized them all, is because I didn't think I was going to get a whole lot of views. I might not get a whole lot of views if I republicize them right now, but I might do that just for the sake of doing it. But another reason why I privatized them all, well, 2018 came along, and it was about a year after I lost a job because I did a YouTube video that I meant to keep private, and amongst me and a couple other employees I worked with. But I guess I marked it as a public video and didn't realize it, and got in trouble, and lost my job because of it. That was reason number 2 why I eventually stopped YouTubing. The third and final reason why I stopped YouTubing for so long is because in 2018, see, it was July 2nd, 2018. Plum Tree Plaza, the same complex I was talking about that I publicized, where I privatized all the videos, one that's nearby BYU. I was just talking about it a few minutes ago. Anyways, that day I went to in that same shopping complex, I went to a movie theater because I like to document things that, like I said, I like to document things that are getting demolished or they're getting rebuilt or repurposed into something else. But anyways, there was a movie theater that was there, and it was abandoned. They had closed the theater in April 2017, so just over a year before I went in to go do this video. It was a Saturday, and there were some construction workers there. I guess they were getting ready to at that point, I didn't really know what they were going to do with the complex, but they're starting to fence it all up. At that point, I wasn't really sure if they were demolishing it or what they were planning on doing with it all. So I went to one of the construction workers that was there. It was a Saturday. I want to say it was July 1st, 2018. I went up to one of the construction workers. I asked him, it's like, hey, what are you guys going to do with what's happening with the theater over there? And that's when I found out they're getting ready to demolish that and demolish the rest of the complex. But any further plans, they weren't exactly sure what was going on, because they said they were going to redevelop it for housing. They said they're going to redevelop it for retail, or it could be mixed use. They weren't sure yet. They were still in the planning stages at the time. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I had my kids. My wife was working that day. I had my kids with me. So I didn't want to go into the theater with my kids sitting in the car, you know? So I asked the guy, I was like, hey, would it be okay if I came back tomorrow morning? So the next morning being July 2nd, Sunday morning, I was like, would you be okay if you left the front door unlocked? Because I want to go in there. I had my GoPro with me at the time. I was like, I have my GoPro, but I want to be able to go in there and go film, but I can't go in there today because I have my kids and I want to be the responsible parent and make sure I can keep my kids safe. He's like, oh yeah, I can actually leave the door open for you if you want to come back tomorrow morning. I'll leave it open, and that way you can go and do what you want to do. I was like, oh, okay, awesome, thank you. I neglected to get that conversation on film or in writing or audio recorded. I neglected that part, to do that part, and I wish I had done that. And I'm going to get to that point here in just a second. So the next morning, I go there at about 9 or 9:30. I told my wife I'm gonna go do a real quick video down in Provo, and I'll be back in about an hour and a half tops. It's like, okay, go have fun. I was like, all right, okay, cool. So I go there, and when I get there to the front, I'll share pictures of the whole complex. I'll even include some of the video in this video as a picture-in-picture. Sorry about that background noise. So I go there. Box office window was already smashed in. That was already there before. And luckily, this part I actually recorded. I recorded myself entering the movie theater, but not through that cracked window, but the front door, because the guy said he would leave the front door unlocked for me to enter. That footage was not in my final project, but luckily I saved that footage as B-roll footage of me entering the premises through the front door and not through that window. Let me get to that towards the end of the story. So I walk in, I'm probably there for a good, I want to say at least 45 minutes. It wasn't like a super big theater. It was a 8-screen theater, so it was 2 stories. But the top floor was just offices and where the screens are the movie projectors are at. That's all that was on the top floor. Anyways, I'm just there. I have my GoPro and I have a light. I'm there filming, and that's all. That's literally all I did. Did not pick up anything. Did not move anything. I didn't even touch anything that my feet did not touch. And I might have opened the door. Okay, so my hand would just open the door. That's all it was. That's all I would use my hand for. I had my GoPro and my light in my other hand, and then use my other hand to open up doors. And maybe you can hold up I had 2 lights. So I had a flashlight and a light attached to my camera, like the one I'm using right now. Anyways, I go around, film it. I'm filming for a good 45 minutes. I did not use all of my footage that I recorded that day. Got changed in the background. I apologize for that. Ooh, look at this. Look at that. Maybe I could use that as my backdrop. There we go. So I'm there, I'm filming. I get done in about 45 minutes. I record, I was there for, actually, come to think of it, I was there for about an hour, but I got about 45 minutes of footage. And like I said, I did not use all of the footage. I was able to skim it down to about 15, 20 minutes long in the final cut. But like I said, that's all I was there for. I was only there to film and take pictures. That's all I was there for. And then anyways, I leave and I record myself leaving out the front door the same way I came in. And then I finish up the video and I start transferring. I brought my laptop with me on that trip. So that way, on my way home, I was transferring the video files from my SD card in my camera onto my computer, onto my laptop. So that way when I got home, I can do all the editing and post it the same day. And that's exactly what I did. About a week later, I'm getting ready to go back home to Washington State, because we were going up, and this is 2018, we're going back home to go visit family, because my parents and my sisters, one of my sisters and both my brothers still lived up in Washington at the time. So I wanted to go back up there and go visit some family, some aunts, uncles, cousins, a whole bunch of family. It was a Thursday night. The next morning I still had to go to work. So it was a Friday, I had to go to work. And then at like 10 or 10:30 at night, my wife is still working, my kids are asleep, I'm in bed, just getting ready to fall asleep. Just as I was about to fall asleep, there's a knocking on my front door, and I could hear it, and I was like, okay, I didn't really think much about it, because my wife is out there by 10 or 10:30 at night. It's kind of slow at work. She worked from home at the time, and it was kind of a slow time of the night. Past like 9 o'clock, it slowed down. She still had to be on the call for another 3 hours. And so then, knocking the door, my wife is getting it. A couple minutes later, my wife comes in and says, Chris? I was like, what? She's like, the police are here to talk to you. I looked at her, I was like, talk to me about what? I didn't know what I did wrong. I didn't know what was going on. And so I said, for what? What did I do? I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't break the law. I didn't do anything. So I come up, and she said, I don't know, you bet. She was not mad. I mean, she was not happy at all. Not happy whatsoever. And I don't blame her for being mad. She had every right to be mad at me for whatever it was I did. I had no idea. So then I go up to the front door, and it wasn't really like a police officer, but it was like I want to say it was a detective that worked for the local police department, or for the Provo City Police Department. He was a detective, and he served me with a court summons. I was looking at it. I was like, "What is this for?" He's like, "Honestly, I'm not even sure what's going on, but you were breaking and entering into a building, and that's what they want you to come into court for." And I was like sitting there like, I wasn't breaking and entering into anywhere. What? So then after about 5 or 10 minutes, I was like trying to make sense of what was going on. I was like, I never broken and entered into anything. I never broken anywhere. So where are they getting this from? I was telling my wife, yeah, they want me to come to court because of breaking and entering. And she was mad. She's like, why were you breaking and entering? I was like, where were you breaking? I was like, the only thing I could think of was the movie theater, but they told me I can go in. The construction worker told me I could go in. That was the only thing I could think of. And she's like, maybe that was it. You shouldn't have done that in the first place. Which, okay. She may have been right. She may have been right. I'm not going to fight my wife about that. So the court date was for, when was it for? It was for October 26th that same year. So it was still just a few months away. It was about 2 or 3 months away from when I got served that court summons. And it was a Monday, and I went ahead and got that day off from work. And I was so stressed out. Like when I first got that court summons, I was so stressed out because, like I said, it was served to me on a Thursday. Had to go to work the next day, and then I was going to Washington State for like the next week and a half after that. So that entire vacation, I was stressed out because of this. And I was trying to explain to my parents what was going on. I was like, I don't even know what the heck is going on. I'm being charged with breaking and entering, and I don't even know who's charging me with it. So from what I understood, it was a particular individual that was charging me with it, but it also said Provo City was charging me with that. So I was like, but why? What? For what? Anyways, So October 26th comes around. It was a Monday. I believe it was October 26th, but it was the very last Monday of October 2018, whichever day that fell upon. And I go into court in Provo, and they told me to go be there by 9 a.m., which I was there at like 8:30. Knowing me, I'm always to places early. I'm always like either half hour early, 15 minutes early. I just like to be early anywhere and everywhere I go. So I go in there. They called my name because it was one of those cases where, like, you know, there were like 10 or 15 other people that were there to plead their case, what was going on, and enter a plea. And I requested, when it was my turn, I requested from the judge if I could speak to a public defender or get representation, you know, because I couldn't afford a lawyer or anything like that, which he appointed to me. He told me to come back on the Friday after Thanksgiving. So the day after Thanksgiving that same year, they say you had to go back to court, and I had to show it to my boss and prove to him that I'm not just trying to get an extra day off from work. So I was like, okay, all right. So I got the day off from work, and told me to be there. I think he said it was 9 a.m. again. I had to be there on that day. And if I wanted to speak to the public defender, come early. So I was like, okay, I got all the information I needed from the judge and from who I needed to speak to, what time I should be there. So that day I get there at 8:30 in the morning. So about a half hour before I was actually supposed to be in court. And I speak with the public defender that was there just right outside the courtroom. And I bring my court summons, I bring all the paperwork that I had, bring all my pictures, the video in question and stuff like that. And I found out that the video that I had posted about the movie theater was the video that was in question. Because apparently someone from the city of Provo reported me, thinking that I was there to do malicious things. Basically, they thought I was there to rip down the walls, break windows, break glass, spray paint the entire place, basically be destructive, which I am not a part of. I'm not a part of the destruction of any piece of property at all whatsoever. To me, when it comes to like vlogging about abandoned places like that, just go there, take pictures, take video, do whatever it is you need to do, and then get out of it. Don't touch anything, don't leave anything, don't bring anything, don't even touch anything. Just take pictures, leave footprints, take your video, and leave. Get out of there. And then present your video after that. Anyway, so I was talking to the public defender about that. I was like, here, I pulled in my Flickr account because I had been posting pictures of the complex that I had been taking pictures of. Some of the pictures I presented in this video so far are in the photo album that is in question. So I'll go ahead and put a link to that Flickr album down below. And so that way you can see what I'm talking about. But if you pull up the metadata for each of those photos, you can see that I've been documenting that place and posting it online since at least 2017. And that I had never been there to cause anything malicious. And I was through those photos and through the videos and B-roll footage that I had, I was able to prove that I was only there for about an hour, and I was only there to take pictures, and I was only there to take pictures and videos, and that's all I was there for. And you see in the video that the property that they were questioning, the broken glass, knocked over walls, holes in the wall, all that stuff was already there when I got there. My video was able to prove that, including all the B-roll footage I have. And so then he looks at me, he's like, well, why are you here then? And I told him, I'm still trying to figure that out, because that entire time I was supposed to be in court, up until the first time I went to court and the second time I went to court, I was trying to figure out who reported me, who I needed to talk to, why am I being charged with the criminal trespass, why, what's going on? I was trying to get answers for myself, and I told that to the public defender. I was like, I'm not even sure what's going on. I don't even know who reported this. I just got a summons from a detective or a police officer telling me to come into court on such and such a day at such and such a time. That's why I'm here, because I'm answering to that summons. Other than that, I don't know exactly what's going on. And that's why I requested to have a public defender the last time I was in court. Excuse me. So he said, go ahead and go into the court, and I gotta make a few phone calls, figure out what's going on, because I think I know who I need to talk to about something like this. So I was like, okay. And so I went out to the court because he told me to go out to court and wait for the judge to call my name. I was in there for a good maybe 20 minutes at least before he came in to get me. And he actually came in and talked to me about 5 minutes before the judge called me up to the stand. And he pulled me outside of the courtroom just outside the door of the courtroom for just a minute. He was like, I was able to talk to someone from the city of Provo. They're dismissing the case. They basically just wanted to like scare you, make sure you were not doing anything malicious, or not delicious, but malicious. And they wanted you to answer those charges because they wanted to figure out why you were there. And you basically proved to me what you were trying to do. They're like, yeah, I'm just a YouTuber. I just wanted to take videos. I wanted to take pictures. And as you can see, I've been documenting the place for at least a few years. He's like, I see that, and that they're willing to dismiss the case, drop the charges and everything. I was like, oh, thank goodness, because I don't have a criminal record at all. At all. No criminal record whatsoever. So I go back into the courtroom, and he's sitting next to me, and about 2 or 3 minutes later, the judge calls me up to the stand, and then the public defender tells the judge that the people who are pressing charges are willing to dismiss the case, drop the charges. They just wanted him to answer to like some photographs and some video that he actually took. And there's nothing incriminating them. He's like, okay, case dismissed, all charges dropped. Case is dismissed with prejudice, and that was it. And I was like, oh, thank you. But we stepped outside of the courtroom, and I asked the lawyer, I was like, what does that mean with charges dismissed with prejudice? What does that mean? And he said, what that basically means is, if you get in trouble, if you do something that's kind of similar to this, and they catch you and they want to charge you again, they're allowed to do that. And then they can charge you to the full extent of the law, which could be heavy fines, about $3,000 or $4,000, and up to 60 days in prison. So I was like, oh crap, no, I'm not going to do that. No, and so then that was the third and final straw. And after that, I started to realize, even with my wife talking to me, that she felt I was neglecting her and my kids and favoring YouTube over them, which to me was not true, but I did not look at it from her point of view at all. So that was it. I had to take, I was like, that's it, doing YouTube stuff is not worth my family, risking my family, putting them in danger or anything like that. Because even when I got charged, I had a daughter. My daughter was just barely a year old after everything was done. So I started doing YouTube, but I did continue to record video, take a whole bunch of pictures of all this stuff. I just did not post any of that stuff online. I kept it to myself and kept it on a hard drive, just so I could save it. So I could still do my hobby, but not post it anywhere. And I want to say I kept doing that until about 2023. And that's about when I started posting some of those pictures I had taken on Instagram under ShrinerDog_photos. That was my original name to my second page, the page that is connected to my YouTube page. Nowadays I call it ShrinerDog_on_YouTube. And that's the one I still use. Same one as before. I'm posting some pictures on there. Sometimes I'll post pictures from my videos and stuff like that, just to tie it in, just as like a extra, just something, if you want to see some more of my credit, not only will you be able to watch my videos, but you can see my stuff on YouTube or on Instagram and go there. And then finally, like about a year later, so I want to say summer last year. So it's been about a year, close to a year that I started posting on YouTube again. I was like, you know what? Because for those from between 2018 and 2024, I kept telling my wife, I would like to get back into doing YouTube, but I want to do it the right way. And what I meant by that is the fact that I did not want my wife to feel like I'm neglecting her. I did not want to make her feel like I cared more about YouTube than I did my own family. I mean, I do care about my YouTube channel. Don't get me wrong, I do care about my YouTube channel. But I do care about my wife and kids more. My family comes first. They are my priority. I just gotta put that out there. So anyways, that's my story as to why I stopped doing YouTube for so long. And I hope you enjoyed watching today's video and hope people learned a lesson from it, you know, because just be safe while you're out there and doing YouTube. I'm not gonna tell you what to post, what not to post. It's your channel in the end. All I ask for you to do is just be safe and have fun with it. Anyways, if you like today's video, hit that like button down below, leave a comment. I would really appreciate you guys doing that. And also don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because I noticed that the majority of the people who actually watch my videos are not subscribers to my channel. So why don't you do yourself a favor, hit that subscribe button, then hit that notification bell to get notified whenever I post a new video. And also, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you decide to do. Just do whatever it is you want to do. Anyways, hope you enjoyed today's video again, and I'll talk to you in the next video. I should also say one other thing before I officially end the video with the end credits. Is I mentioned that doing this YouTube stuff affected one of my jobs. I lost a job because of it, and I'll admit that. I'm ashamed of that. So one other piece of advice I have to give to you, if you're doing YouTube stuff and you have a full-time job and you do YouTube stuff on the side, don't let it affect how you work at work. Like, don't lose your job over a YouTube video. I mean, worry about your full-time job first. Worry about YouTube afterwards. And if you're in a situation where you can do YouTube full-time, go for it. You have my full support for that. Just prioritize yourself. Make it to where before you quit your job to do YouTube, make sure you're make sure you're financially stable to do that. That's just a piece of advice coming from me. I mean, obviously take what I say with a grain of salt. I mean, everybody's in a different situation from each other. Just be smart about your situation and whatever situation you may be in. All right. See you in the next video.
Hey everybody. Everybody watching has to subscribe. Subscribing is cool. Thanks.